Good morning, gang. What's up, traders? Happy Thursday. All right, so we had PPI this morning and initial jobless claims. Fed Barkin was speaking about 40 minutes ago. Nothing else on the schedule other than random social media posts from Trump, right? All right, so market opens in 8 minutes. I did take a CPI trade, so I'll kind of explain, or PPI. I'll explain to you guys my entry. So this is an anchored VWAP off of the PPI news candle, and we were consolidating around here and looking like we were holding above it. So in this chop, I was looking for longs, and then when we came and wicked down with an aggressive buy up, you can see there was volume there. That's where I got in long. Stop loss was pretty tight. I didn't want to see it drop back down. And then goal was to ride it back up to Asia high. I have a limit order up there, but it didn't hit. So we'll see what happens at the market open. But in terms of levels, if you zoom out, we've kind of been in this box overnight. So gonna kind of trade the range. If we come down to London low or Asia low, we could look for potential longs. I don't necessarily want to short Asia high unless it's obvious. I think a better short would be if it gets stuck up here at previous day high and we get a rejection there. So this is our Tokyo low. I'm actually going to move this. I'll keep it there. So you guys have seen my funny, we're going to have two Asia lows. Because this is technically our, like, low of day, pre-market Asia low. And that's Tokyo low. So when I turn on my market sessions indicator, it starts it at Tokyo time. So two opportunities for a sweep if we come lower. Looking at ES. Kind of similar choppiness, staying in this range. We have previous day high right above us. And then previous, like earlier in the week, we have a high up at 77.97. So that could be a possible rejection. And then we get up to all-time highs up here. Let's take a look at gold. So if anyone was trading during London, that was a really nice bounce off of previous day low on gold. Came all the way up to VWAP. That would have been a great trade. Taking a long off of previous day low all the way up to there. I wonder if anyone in the chat took that. Big rejection off of VWAP though. Look at that 30-minute candle right there. Ouch. So if we are going to get a bounce, we could possibly look at the fibs. Have it maybe come back to like the 0.5 or the 618. Draw a little anchored VWAP on the low of day, the swing low. See if any of those line up. Oh, check that out. if we're going to get a bounce on gold, it might be somewhere around here. It's holding that low of day anchor VWAP right now. What do you guys think? Long on gold? Where's G-Man when you need him? What do you think, G-Man? All right. Someone asked, what are my key levels today? So, longs I could see going up to, like, if longs are the way to go, potential target of 30K. So if it does get up there, we could look for a rejection. Really, I kind of see a big box that we're in, like, from here to here, really. So if we bounce, longs off the bottom, shorts off the top if we get up to 30K. Pending the reaction. Janowak, don't trade gold? Why? I made a lot of money on gold last night. And a lot of nights. I trade Asia gold during Asia session. And it is fire. Do I trade on the 1 minute? Really, it just depends on how zoomed in or out I want to be. A lot of times I'll stay on the 5 minute just watching price action. And then if it gets to a key level and I'm looking for a liquidity sweep, then I'll zoom into the 1. Or I'll watch the 1 minute like at the market open. So it kind of depends. But if we're choppy and kind of just ranging in the middle, I try to remind myself to zoom out to the 5 minute just so I don't get stuck in the chop. For me personally, I kind of overanalyze every candle and feel more FOMO if I'm on the 1 minute. All right, I will delete this volume profile. Market opens in 1 minute. Let's see what we get. All right. Took my stop. I'm happy with that. I had it pretty tight. Coming down to that news candle anchored VWAP. Goodness, this first 1 minute candle is all over the place. All right, starting to head down. I'm going to move over to ES on this screen. ES rejected previous day high right at the open. First 1 minute candle. Decent little bounce there at the daily VWAP and right near the New York value area low. Headed back up. We are back above our previous high, our New York Open, the high of the New York Open. And that is Asia high, and we're just blasting right through it. Let's see if we head up to 30K. Oh, that was a sneaky little drop at the open if we're going to have a bullish day. Oh, man. That right there is why I feel better about waiting the first 15 minutes. There are times that I'll trade it, like if it just everything lines up, but man, sneaky, sneaky. All right, here's our 15-minute low. Boom, this thing is moving. Jeez. You traded the reversal? Let's go. Good job, JP fan. Good for you. Yeah, I have nothing against trading in the first couple minutes of the open. Like, I know it can be super profitable for some people, especially if you have a strategy, you follow your rules. There's lots of momentum. Like, if you're good with it, then you can make good money in 10 minutes and lock it up and get on with your day. Like, that's cool. It's just a personal thing. I feel anxious. I feel like I'm gambling. I feel stressed. Like, there's just too much anxiety, and I want trading to be boring. I want it to be calm. When I feel stressed in a trade, that's not good. That's just me personally. And there's 30K. All right. So that does not look like we're going to sweep and reject that previous day high. Holy cow, you guys. This is awesome. I'm actually enjoying watching this. Is there news? Like, I mean, I know we had PPI a couple minutes ago, but did there some headline come out that, like, the war is over or something? Come here, buddy. I got my coffee delivery. Thank you.
Are you getting recorded?
Yeah. Love you.
Hello.
All right, so this is our recent like wick high at 30,073. Wonder if that's where we're headed. And if you look left on the hourly, we got quite a few wicks in this general area. That could be where it's headed, perhaps. My goodness, that was funny to watch. Not funny. Funny is not accurate, but you know what I mean. Like, geez. The market just proved me all kinds of wrong. You know, you would expect 30K, it's, you know, that round psychological number plus previous day high. Wouldn't it kind of make sense to have, like, some sort of reaction at that level? Nope. Straight through. Insane. Well, all we can do at this point is hope for a little pullback, right? We broke above 30K, so I can't be bearish anymore. Looking at the midpoint of the range, the 0.5, 50% of the range, assuming we don't move up more, is right around the New York anchored VWAP, so I know that's a lot to ask for a 100-point pullback, but if it does get back down there, that might be a good spot to enter. Days like these is where accounts die? Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to short the top. Normally you don't trade the open, but you couldn't help yourself. Yeah, I mean, on a day like today, if your setup shows up, I guess the only possible trade I could have taken was along off of this VWAP and value area low bounce. But that was the third candle of the open, and it just, you know, it didn't look quote unquote perfect. Like ES was not at VWAP, wasn't at any other supportive sort of support that I had. So the move went without me, and that's all right. All right, here is our 15-minute high. So, like I said, if we do get a pullback to the midpoint of the range, that is right at the New York anchored VWAP. Might be asking too much, though. Is that the little mini pullback is going to give us? Oh, geez. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I struggle on days like today because I'm always looking for a better risk to reward, so I look for a pullback that kind of makes more sense. But on a day like today, it's a lot of times it's so trendy that the pullbacks are smaller and then I miss it. Like that could have been the pullback. At least for now. Just gotta stay patient and see if something else comes up. We do have ES making its way down too. Yeah, NQ came down to previous day high while ES was at VWAP. I wonder if anyone took that trade. I was a little bit distracted by a message that was sent to me, but that was a good setup right there. So an entry here, it came to previous day high, which is a lot of times an area of resistance turns into support. At the same time, ES was bouncing at VWAP. All right, chat, who took that? I'm curious. Who took that setup? It was a good one. Let me know, let me know. Scalp trader Sharon took it. Let's go. Matt took it. Good discipline, G-Man. I know you've been sticking to your guns, unlocking yourself out. It's paying off. Well, ES is pretty much headed back towards all-time highs. $78.20 is all-time high, right? I'm not missing any levels before that. Yeah. New all-time high on ES coming today? Maybe? So far, gang, that looks like the trade of the day. This old lady is on it today. I love it, Sharon. That's funny. I'm laughing, but seriously, that's kind of, I feel, the way trading works. Is like, when you're reading the market well, when you're having a good day, that's the day that you want to, like, put your foot on the gas. And then on days where you're just not reading the market well, or you've taken a loss or two, or it's choppy or whatever, then those are the days to walk away. I think the hard part is knowing the difference between the two, right? Knowing the days that you are not reading it well, or the days that your setup is just not working very well, and being okay with walking away with a couple $100 in the red and not getting angry and being like, I can make it back. I'm going to take another trade. I can make it back. And then a couple $100 in red turns into a blown account. I think that's the hard part. Overconfidence kills accounts. Yeah, so JP fan, I think what I was saying earlier with like knowing when you're reading the market well and putting your foot on the gas, I don't mean overconfidence. I still think risk management's important, following your rules, following your setup. But I mean, if your setup shows up 4 or 5 times and you can make, $500 per trade, then go for it. Get what you can out of the market. To a degree, like you have to stop at some point because then you can start getting overconfident. So yeah, there's a fine line for sure. Obviously it's all linguistics, right? It's how you define the word, but to me, overconfidence is oversizing, over risking, not following your setup and just entering because it feels right or because you think you know better than what your setup says, or that to me is overconfidence. Yes, that kills accounts. But when you have a day that you're reading the market really well, run with it. Take advantage of it. In a good risk management sort of way. Hopefully that makes sense. Kind of starting to slow down a little bit. This is a huge range so far, you guys. The bottom of our New York session up to the top, 292 within the first 24 minutes. It's got to come down eventually. I can hope. I can only hope. Because that's what I'm waiting for. I don't want to chase it from up here. So at this point, this red box, it's not a supply zone. I know that's normally my code for red boxes. It is more just a zone of wicks that I noticed if you look left. Actually, I take that back. I lied. It is a little bit of a supply zone. I'm not terribly excited about shorting this though. So I think I would just look for more of a pullback in this zone and then find a spot to enter long. I have a little bit of PTSD with shorting all-time highs, and if NQ comes up into this zone, I'm guessing ES will be making an all-time high, so I don't want to be shorting that. I did trade Asia. I took a couple of good trades. So yeah, I feel you, Brian. I'm quite green too. And one of my trades was on gold. I agree. So this one right here, I took two trades, one on NQ, one on gold. This one was off of the lower VWAP band. So if I throw on the standard deviation of VWAP, it was holding here. I took a long off the bottom of the band, and I took profit at the recent swing high of the day, like the opening candle. So that was the NQ trade that I took. Gold. Gold was a bounce off of previous day low, or a value area low. Oh, is it not on here? I don't know why my chart didn't carry over. Oh, there it is. So, value area low. It was a pretty clean bounce off of that. And again, took profit at the swing high for the day, like the opening candle for Asia. And it just kept going all the way up to previous day high. I could have taken a lot more, but that's okay. I hit my daily profit target in my accounts between those two trades, so I signed off. But yeah, Asia last night was very nice. When am I doing a live Asia stream again? I don't know. We're getting into sports season with school starting, so I am out at some sort of sports practice 4 days a week. Because I have 3 kids and they're all doing different stuff. My daughter does gymnastics and soccer. My older son does swimming, and my younger son does jujitsu. So I'm mom taxi driver in the evenings. So there might be days where maybe we only have one practice and my husband can take him to practice, or I could do like Sunday night possibly, because sometimes the Sunday open's really good. I do, yeah. 7 to 9 Eastern time is when the best trades are, usually. From what I find for Asia. Seven is sometimes good, but really the good liquidity comes when the Tokyo Open happens, which is at 8 p.m. But I start looking at 7. Both, Chichamis. Depends on what's moving. If there's a setup on either, I'll take them. Like last night, I took one on gold and one on NQ. Alright, let me get this back on ES. See if we're hitting that all-time high yet. Oh yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. I feel like I need a confetti blaster on the screen. I don't know if that's possible, but that'd be cool. You know how when you're like on a Zoom call or something and you can push that little button that like puts confetti or like hearts all over your screen? That'd be cool if I could do that on YouTube. There probably is a way, I just don't know how. But that would be awesome. If I change my cursor, there's a confetti option in Trading View? Like under settings? You'll have to tell me how. Now I'm curious. I want confetti on my screen. Then every time I like hit my profit, take profit or something, I can totally put confetti on the screen. Top right options bar. Like my settings here. The magic one? Oh, that is so cool. You just made my day. All right, here we go. We're having a little party for ES. All time high. Woo! You guys are going to hate me and you're going to stop watching my stream because I'm going to use that way too often. Ah, that is too funny. Now there's, I mean, oh, demonstration? You guys, this is like magical. Why did I not know about this before? So, if I'm like doing my YouTube videos and like trying to show you guys what I'm talking about and pointing with my cursor and stuff, I can do a little demonstration thing. Oh, this is too cool. Alright, I'll stop now. Oh no, G-Man. Last time this happened, where you locked yourself out of New York, you ended up buying some evals because you're like, I can't stand it. I need to trade. You're like getting that little like crack addict itch. How long does Blue Sky take to do KYC? I have no idea. I have not traded with Blue Sky. That's a good question. Sky, I seem happy. It's the little things. You gotta find joy in the little things. Well, like I said, I am not thrilled about the idea of shorting all-time high. Yes, who knows how far it's going to go at this point. NQ is coming into that supply zone that I have marked off, but I would rather have it reject here and I don't take the short and we find a pullback spot. That would be preferred. We do have the New York Anchor VWAP sitting right at the top of, or right around the top of the 15-minute opening range high. I know that's a big ask. That's a 120-point drop. But if it comes back to that general area, we could look for a long. Or we do have our initial balance set in about 30 minutes, so we could see what comes on that too. Well, while we're sitting here hanging out, you guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button. I appreciate the support. A little over 200 people watching. We got 53 likes. By the way, I posted about this in Discord, but if you guys are on Instagram, come find me on Instagram. I just hit 6,000 followers, which is kind of a fun milestone. So I'm going to do Lucid giveaways every day next week. So come follow along, join in on the fun. Got it maxed out, G-Man. Next week's the week. All right, starting to slow down a little. Maybe a pullback, maybe. Or not. It's just hanging up here. Goodness. Oh, Scout Trader Sharon, the sorry if I didn't clarify it. The giveaways are going to be on Instagram. It was kind of a celebration of the milestone on Instagram. And what do you have to do to win the giveaway? I'll say it in the video. I'll post a video each day, but it'll be silly stuff like post a GIF in the comments, and the GIF that I like the best will win, or anyone who comments below gets entered into a random drawing, and I'll do like a wheel spin drawing. It'll be stuff like that, just random fun stuff. Yeah, I get that. I get that, Sharon. I try to limit it too. $20 until our initial balance is set. Yeah, G-Man. I agree. It if you guys go back and watch like my pre-market plan, knowing what happened today, you're just gonna laugh. I sound dumb. Like, oh yeah, watching this 30K level, maybe a rejection from there. Nothing. Just blew right past that by 200 points and still going. Well, if we look at our current initial balance levels, our 25% retracement is about here. 30,125. Our 50% retracement is close to the 15-minute opening range high and VWAP. If it comes to this general area, maybe could be a good pullback spot. We've only had one red 5-minute candle in this whole New York session on both ES and NQ. JP fan, like you placed a trade and walked away right now, like you're in a trade? Yeah, watching the trade can be tough. Like mismanaging stop loss, trailing stop loss too soon, just ruining it. Explain the payout details on the 50K flex. Yes. So you have to have 5 green days. A green day is a minimum of $150 in profit. It doesn't have to be 5 days in a row. It can be any 5 days mixed with red days in there. So that's one of the qualifications. You also have to I would need to look. I think the minimum payout is $500. You'll have to check the FAQs for that, but I think the minimum payout request is $500, and you can only request up to you can request 50% of your profit. So you need to trade to at least $1,000 to be able to request that 500, and then you can request a max of $2,000. So if you want to request $2,000, you have to trade to at least $4,000 in profit. But there's no consistency. So you can make like $4,000 one day and then just trade 4 more days of $150 to qualify for a payout. So 5 green days and a minimum of $1,000 total. So you can request that $500 minimum. JP fan, yeah, I think it comes with time. It also comes with confidence in your strategy and knowing your data. Because if you know your data, then you can just look at it as numbers. Like, I know that 62% of the time this wins, so 38% of the time it loses, and that's okay. Because it's a numbers game. Yeah, Brian, you might be right. To be honest, I've kind of lost interest in trading gold during the New York session because it's so, like, look at this. That's what it's been. Just choppy. All right. We got only our second red candle out of the entire New York session. Our initial balance is set in 10 minutes, but as of now, this is our 25% retracement at 30,130. So we can see what kind of reaction we get there. But also, I still like this little red or yellow zone that I drew. Lots of stuff is lining up in this area. That's our 50% retracement of the initial balance, 15-minute opening range high, and then our New York anchored VWAP. But again, it's a super bullish day. I don't want to be too greedy with the pullback. Ian, NQ won't give an opportunity. I think it just requires patience. It's still early. We're only 50 minutes into the session so far. It could come. Man, ES is still moving up. Andy, can you build a buffer? Yes, absolutely. So you don't have to, like the example I said, if you want to take a $2,000 payout, you don't have to stop at 4,000. So let's say you trade to $6,000 in profit. If you pull 2,000 out, which is the max, then you have $4,000 left. So you're giving yourself a buffer. This string ain't got no brakes. It's out of control. We got a runaway train. Especially ES. At least NQ is like stalling a little bit. Someone was asking me earlier if I trade on the 1 minute, and I know I zoom into the 1 minute when it's approaching a key level that I'm paying attention to, but right now is an example of why I try to stay on the 5 minute a lot of times. Because if you look at the 1 minute, it's easy to get, for me at least, it's easy to get caught up in all of this. Like this 1 minute candle right there, after all of that chop, you're like, it's going down. Nope. Get bought right back up. And even though maybe I wouldn't have chased that short, like that would have been a dumb move to try to short this, I can still feel my emotions getting caught up in it. Whereas if I'm on the 5 minute, I can see there's nothing going on at all and I'm not interested. So it just helps me emotionally. I'm just telling myself to stay patient. Something will show up, right? Or if it doesn't, that is okay because tomorrow's another day. Lots of opportunity in the market. I actually was having a conversation with someone about, like, I've taken a few weeks of good gold trades, and they're like, man, I wish I could trade gold, but like it doesn't work with my time. And I'm like, you know what? There's several mornings that each week where I wake up looking at the London session and I'm like, man, if only I lived over in London. That would have been a great trade, you know? Like the grass is always greener on the other side. Like today, for example, that really clean bounce on gold off of the previous day low, that was at like 3 a.m. my time. And I'm like, dang it, that would have been nice. But another way you can like flip that script in your head is there's always another opportunity, right? Or there's so much opportunity in the market. Oh my goodness. How long are we gonna chop it? I be high up here. All right, 1 minute until initial balance is set. Now we can just look for a possible pullback. Am I looking to enter a sell off of IB high? No, I mean not necessarily, unless something obvious shows up. But I don't love that idea just because of how bullish the open was, and the fact that ES is at an all-time high. I don't like shorting on that scenario. I would rather wait for a pullback and then enter long. But we shall see what the market brings. A short is possible, but that's not what I'm leaning towards right now. Straight up. My goodness. Well, I did tap the top of that supply zone that I had marked off. Nice, Jesse. Yeah, that is definitely playing out. Good call. I love a good liquidity sweep reversal trade. That one's pretty. If I had gotten in too long, you can see me riding the train. Well, obviously hindsight's 2020. I would like to think so. But typically the way I trade is I scale out, and my like big target for the day was around 30K. So I probably would have taken a big part of my position off there and then maybe left a small runner if I had gotten in like down here. If I got in here on that bounce that I kind of drew up but didn't take, yeah, I don't know. Not sure where I would have taken profit. I need to get better at setting alerts for gold. Because, yeah, if I had seen that it was sweeping that level, I probably would have been looking for a long too. I just don't have the third screen up. So I'm usually focused on ES and NQ during the New York session. Oh well, lesson learned. I'll set an alert next time. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm getting annoyed with NQ that it's not pulling back. No, I'm not in a trade currently. We can draw up a volume profile for the session. Point of control is way up here. That makes sense. That's the only little consolidation, like red candle zone that we had. All right, coming back towards initial balance high. Let's see if we break below it. Here's IB high on ES. We are breaking below that one. Patience is the key to success. Opportunity will come. Feel like that needs to be on a fortune cookie. Oh yeah, Alex. I'm sure it's very likely to hit the 0.1 extension. And I can look, but it's probably a decent chance it'll hit the 0.2 and 0.3 also, maybe in the 70s. But I'm hoping that it pulls back and lets me enter first so that I can ride it up to the 0.1. Yeah, 0.2 extension is 73%. So not as high as a lot of times, probably because our initial balance size is so big. What is the percentage of the range? IB low, IB high, 1.2. Well, ES is definitely rejecting IB high. Again, not going to short it because there's no resistance, no reason to short it other than a line that we label initial balance high. But my thought is that I hope NQ follows. Let's look at retracement levels. Initial balance retracement on breakout days. 60% chance it hits the 25% retracement. Only a 36% chance that it hits the 50%. So now that we've kind of moved away, like time has passed, the New York anchored VWAP is moving quite a ways away from the 50% retracement. So this zone doesn't look as good. That would be a pretty deep pullback. I would watch more for a 25% retracement reaction. So maybe there. And then watch for it to potentially also move down to the New York anchored VWAP. So some sort of entry in here. And then maybe go up to the 0.1 extension if it hasn't hit yet. That'd be kind of what I'm watching for. We'll see if we get it though. School starts August 18th, so next Tuesday. Just a couple days left. We had our Meet the Teacher night for my junior hire on Monday. We have another Meet the Teacher night for my elementary kids tonight. So it's getting close. It's right around the corner. Ilegos, I don't know how to say your name, but you like the coffee. I think that's like your third cup for the morning. I'm just messing with you. I like coffee too. All right, so point of control for the session is at about 207. I'm looking for it to come down to like anywhere from like 106 to 144-ish, somewhere in this box. Maybe something there. Oh my gosh. Starbucks is way overrated. I agree. I'll drink Starbucks if that's the only option. Like if I'm at the airport or something and like that's the coffee option. But I don't love their coffee. Even for like the fancy frou-frou drinks, which I don't normally get, but like if I get a vanilla latte or something like that, I would rather go to a little mom and pop coffee shop. I think they are usually better. Oh, Paul, that's a good question. I don't normally have that on. That's left over from the Asia session. I trade with the VWAP standard deviation bands, and that's what that white line is. So it was a band from the daily VWAP. Finex, I'm not a big fan of like gas station 7-Eleven coffee. Sometimes it's good. It depends. I like McDonald's actually has good coffee. And that's the only thing I get at McDonald's. I think their food is disgusting, but their coffee, like their drip coffee is pretty solid. That is a nice pullback on ES, you guys. All right, so as you guys know, I like to use ES for confluence. ES is currently at its 25% retracement. We have our anchored VWAP at 78.18. So we can see how it reacts there. If we start getting a bounce on ES, and maybe NQ is at like the 25% retracement or something, we can kind of just see if they're both bouncing at good key levels. Man, I'm not mad about it because I honestly would not have taken this trade on ES, but that was a good short right there. Nice, clean rejection off of IB high. But I would have had zero reason to take it, like I said, other than the fact that there's one line that we label as initial balance high. No other resistance. And shorting all-time highs, in my experience, is a dumb move. I've done it before. Rookie mistake. But I can only hope that NQ does something similar, right? What are the retracement levels on ES? I didn't look at that. So this is NQ. ES retracement. On breakout days. That's interesting. I wonder if I'm pulling the report wrong. But it's saying there's only a 33% chance we go to the 25% retracement. Only an 11% chance that we go to the 50%. I would think it would be a lot higher. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong on that report, guys. Oh no, Jason. Were you in a position? That's no fun. Yeah, Phoenix, I don't know what settings I have wrong on my report because that just doesn't make sense to me. I have it at New York session. The last 6 months, ES. I don't know. Something's not right though. Well, it has significantly slowed down. NQ is still chopping at that point of control. It could bounce here. Man. Definitely debating in my head because ES is at the New York anchored VWAP. So there is some confluence for this level. I think I'm going to stay with the safer bet and wait for a bigger pullback down to this general area, 25% retracement and VWAP area. If that means I miss it, then so be it. CPI hangover is done. Business as usual. Yeah, that is nice. Definitely makes things a little bit funky. I'm sure that's why yesterday was tough because we had CPI and then, you know, tomorrow, meaning today, PPI was coming. So just that whole like 24 to 36 hour period was just funky. So I'm glad it's over. But you can't really say it's over because, you know, there's going to be something coming. What do we have next week? More services PMI, retail sales, jobless claims. Yeah, nothing super huge. FOMC isn't until a month from now. So I guess we're good to go for a little while. Edgeful CPI report? I haven't. I know, honestly, I only use maybe 5% of Edgeful's capacity. Like, Edgeful is such an amazing tool, but to be totally honest, it is a little overwhelming with how many reports they have. So with my simple little brain, I just try to keep it simple and stick with the initial balance reports and the things that I know how to do. But yeah, I know they have some good reports on CPI and all kinds of stuff. I haven't even watched the video on like what the CPI report shows. I'm going to put that on my to-do list for today because now I'm curious. ES is still holding that New York anchored VWAP level. NQ's chopping at point of control. Come a little lower. Come on. Oh man, practicing that patience. I really wanted to take a long there because ES was holding at that anchored VWAP. But I was like, nope, it could come lower. Man, this is tough, you guys. Paul, you're feeling it too? Yeah, I think one thing that helps a little bit is I did take that pre-market CPI trade, so I'm green from that, and then I took a couple of Asia trades last night, so I'm green from that. But man, the FOMO is real, and I'm reaching the point now where I'm like, am I creating trades out of nothing? Am I just searching for something? My strategy for trading CPI. So the trade I took was with the anchored VWAP. I removed it at this point so it wasn't messing up the chart, but this is how I trade if I trade news. It's rare, but I use an anchored VWAP. So if I anchor a VWAP at the news candle, so the 8:30 news candle, I just watch for a momentum shift. So we were consolidating and chopping around here. This is where I entered long because it looked like it was wanting to hold this level and go higher. And there was a good buy up on that level. It was kind of engulfing out of the range. So that's where I entered. My target, I actually was in the trade when the market opened. I had my stop loss somewhere around here at like, I don't know, 29,900-ish. So it didn't go to my full TP. I was aiming for Asia high, and this candle was just short of it. So took about that much off of it. Nothing crazy. Gold had that sweep of the overnight low, went almost up to its initial balance high. Now it's retracing to the 50%. Let's see if it bounces there. I'm not watching gold though. Still hoping for a 25% retracement on NQ. You think that fake out caught a lot of people? Are you talking about that bounce? That the one where I was contemplating the bounce at point of control while ES was bouncing at the VWAP? Yeah. It could still go up from here. Or it could just trap around and mess people up. For me, I know personally that when I can make an argument for both, it's not a good time to trade. So I will wait and see if a better entry comes. How many charts do I monitor? Just the two that you see, so NQ and ES. I don't have like 15 screens on my desk. I really only have these two. I think that's good and bad. Good is that I'm focused on two. I think it's overwhelming when people have like 15 different things that they're watching. Because I think when you're multitasking, you're half in, half out on everything, not really doing any one of them well. But there is a downside because, like I said, I missed that gold trade. If I had been watching the fact that it was sweeping the London low, I probably would have entered. But that's okay. There is opportunity everywhere. Man, this 30,200 level is... There's a battle going on here. Yeah, it slowed way down. Finex, that is a win right there. You should be proud of yourself. Good job stepping away. Have a good day. $11.15 shakeout? Is that a thing? I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. You made it up? Okay. I didn't know. I mean, I hear people talking about all kinds of things in the chat that I don't even know about. Like, apparently there's a 10 a.m. move. Like, I've heard a couple people talk about it. Like, the 10 a.m. move. Like, everyone knows about it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Sky, that would make sense if there was 10 a.m. news, but I feel like that's somewhat rare. Most news is at 8:30. Every once in a while there's something at 10 a.m. Unless it's like a yellow folder or some sort of low impact news thing. Yeah, I get the new 4-hour candle open. I don't know. I think you just have to be prepared for any volatility. Come on, NQ, go down. Yeah, Sky, fact. That is very true. Yeah, Rich, you're probably right. It kind of needs to process all the CPI, PPI, that big move, all-time high on ES. Like, there's a lot to process, so it might not present anything superb. A girl can hope, right? STR, S Trades, have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. ES is making its way down towards the 50% retracement. We also have our daily VWAP and 15-minute opening range high in this general vicinity. But NQ is still just chopping in this same little zone. I was hoping that NQ did this and hit my level. What's up with that, man? Good time to make a grilled cheese sandwich for breakfast. I don't think I've ever had a grilled cheese sandwich for breakfast, but that's a good lunch. It's one of my kids' favorites. I usually put ham in it too, so it's a grilled ham and cheese. They love it. Their favorite is grilled ham and cheese or quesadillas, and I do cheese with ground turkey meat in it, like taco seasoned turkey meat. So it's almost like I don't know, a Mexican empanada kind of thing. I mean, not really. It's a healthier version of that, I guess, but it's quite delicious. Those are the two things they like for lunch. I've made a lot of those over the summer. No, I don't avoid cheese. I like cheese. Cheese isn't bad. All things in moderation. Yeah, so tech, the 15-minute levels, if they kind of line up, like if 15-minute opening range high was maybe like here in some random spot that like didn't line up with anything else, then I probably would pay less attention to it. But the fact that it's at the 50% retracement, if it comes down here, maybe. More so on ES because it's closer and there are several things lining up. For NQ, I feel like that's maybe a bit too far of a pullback. I mean, anything can happen. Don't quote me on that, but you know what I mean. I kind of look for ES and NQ to line up. So if ES is bouncing at this general zone, since lots of things are lining up there at the same time as NQ bouncing at the 25% retracement, that would kind of make sense to me. Was I not feeling great yesterday? I don't know. I think I was just frustrated with the price action yesterday. That was probably a big part of it. Bibno, no, I don't have the course listed anywhere outside of WAP. Man, we have been stuck at this point of control for the last like 30 minutes. Going nowhere. ES is coming down to that little yellow circle that I drew though. Sky, so there's a couple different options. Most people do 12 weeks. So it depends. We can hop on a call and go over details and see if it's a good fit. There is an application process. If you want to fill out the application, we can book a call and see if it's a good fit. what lucid plan should you start with? I like the Flex and the Pro. I like the Pro a lot more recently, just because you only have to wait 3 days in between payouts. But if you're more a beginner, like maybe you haven't gotten a ton of payouts, I would say go with the Flex option because it's cheaper and maybe a little bit easier, in my opinion. Well, NQ came back up to initial balance high. Are we going to reject or keep going? I'm not loving this, you guys. The difference between ES and NQ right now, it's making it a little bit tough. ES did come down to almost the 50% retracement. What do I think about gold now? Retesting the previous day low and London low? Well, the more you retest a level, the weaker it gets. So, I don't know. Oh, so this previous day low? No, I personally would not take that long. I mean, you can if you like the setup. But since this candle right here already grabbed that liquidity, it's less likely that it'll bounce. But it is initial balance low, so that would be more so the reason that I would take it. I'm torn, you guys. I like the zone the ES is coming into. I don't like the NQ has not pulled back at all. Like, it would have been super A plus if they both came to the level I was watching. There you go, Chad. Yeah, I agree. Some of my best trades over the last couple weeks have been coming during Asia. NQ is trying to reject IB high. Still watching ES over here. See what happens. Interesting. Let's see if it holds here. Alright, I'm gonna grab along on ES. Man, that did not go as planned. Alrighty. Well, I'll take that as a good loss because I stayed patient for it. But I'm going to call it there. How long does it take Tradeify to verify your identity? You started Monday? Oh man. It took me like 30 seconds. But I don't know, maybe it's different if you're not in the US. Have you tried reaching out to their support? All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I am not trading tomorrow. I'm taking my kids somewhere, but I will be back next week. Trade safe tomorrow. Hop in the Discord if you're not already, and we will see you guys later. Take care, guys.